Hello and welcome to Philosophy 101. My name is Dr. Nick Nash. In this class, we're going to begin by talking about critical thinking. We're going to spend about a week on this, and then we're going to spend 3 weeks looking at proofs for the existence of God. Then we're going to spend another 3 weeks reading Descartes' Meditations, which is a classic book from the history of Western philosophy. And then we're going to consider the question, what is truth? So the plan for the rest of this video, I'm going to begin by talking a little bit about myself so that you know who I am and what I do. Then I'm going to talk a little bit about the value of philosophy in our world. And I'm going to end by talking about the environment that we want to create in our online classroom. Okay, a few details about me. I live in Pendleton with my wife Rachel, and we moved back to this area in December of 2017 after living away for about 15 years while we were going to school. In addition to teaching at BMCC, I also work for a company called Eastern Oregon Business Source, where I do community development and workforce development, basically teaching adults a variety of different things. And I'm also on the board of the Umatilla County Special Library District. And finally, I'm very grateful for the opportunity to teach philosophy at BMCC. I never thought that I would have the opportunity to move back to my hometown and teach. And although I do a variety of things on any given day, my favorite thing to do out of all of them is to teach philosophy. So I'm very grateful to have this opportunity to work with you all. So a few more details about me. I was born and raised in Pendleton. I graduated from Pendleton High School in 1998. I moved around a bunch after high school, and I dropped out of a lot of different colleges. In 2005, I ended up in Portland. And then in 2006, I started to get my life back together, and I started school at Portland Community College. And then I kept going to school for the next 11 years. Now, on this journey, I completed my bachelor's degree at Portland State University in 2011. Here I am with my wife in the park box on the day that I graduated. And then in 2013, I received my master's degree from the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. If you're not sure where Milwaukee, Wisconsin is, here it is, just north of Chicago a little bit. I lived in Milwaukee for 2 years while working on my master's degree. And then in 2017, I finished my PhD from the University of Western Ontario. Now, if you've never heard of the University of Western Ontario, that's fine. Most people that live in the United States haven't. The University of Western Ontario is located in London, Ontario, Canada. In there is where London is. It's on that little tongue that sticks down into the United States from Canada. It's about halfway between Detroit and Toronto. So my wife and I lived in Canada for about 4.5 years. And here's a picture of us because she was with me in all of the other pictures, standing in front of the tower at the University of Western Ontario with the Canadian flag nicely flying in the background there. So at this point, you may be asking yourself, dude, who cares? Look, I know that you're qualified to teach this class because you're teaching it, so why did you walk me through all of these different sweet degrees that you've earned? I do not care. But look, the reason that I'm going through all of this is because I'm just a regular guy. I had this crazy idea one day that I might actually be able to get a PhD in philosophy. I still remember it. I was sitting on my bed in Portland going to PSU, and I realized, oh my God, getting a PhD is something I could actually do. Certainly not something anyone in my family did or had any way of showing me how to do. It was just an idea I had, and I realized that I might be able to fulfill that idea. And I slowly, over time, put a plan in place, and I followed the plan, and I worked really hard, and I got really lucky. But really, the point of me telling you all of this, right, is that I just want you to know that if someone like me, right, can get a PhD, I just want you all to imagine what you can accomplish. Okay. Now, this is usually the part in the presentation where I talk for a while about how philosophy can help you find a good job. Okay? Now, although I still think that this is true, philosophy can also help us do something that's much more important in our world right now as we work through the COVID-19 epidemic. Philosophy gives us the tools to help us make sense of the world that we live in a meaningful way. And I don't know about all of you, but right now I really need every tool that I have to make sense of the world in a meaningful way. And philosophy is a very good tool for this. So now more than ever, I think that this can be a part of the value that philosophy brings to our lives, helping us try to make sense of the world in a meaningful way. Now, look, I also think that philosophy can be really, really, really fun. And I hope that we have a lot of fun in this class. And in this class, while we're having this fun, we're going to have the opportunity to think about a wide variety of really strange and weird arguments. Okay? Some maybe you've heard of before, and some maybe you haven't heard of or thought about at all. We're going to get the opportunity to practice assessing these arguments and using careful reasoning. We're going to get to practice developing objections to these arguments and then replies to our own objections. And this classroom is going to be a safe place to try out new ideas and to sometimes be wrong. Okay? So this class is going to be an environment where you're safe to share your ideas. Now, as we create this environment, it's important to recognize that this is not to say that there are no wrong ideas, right? So sometimes we have this idea that there's this statement that, look, there's no wrong ideas. That is not the case here. Some of your ideas might be wrong. I'm also not trying to say that all ideas are of equal or are of equal quality, okay? Instead, we want to create an environment where it's okay to share and evaluate our ideas, right? Where it's okay to recognize that you had a wrong idea and that you fixed it so that it's not wrong anymore, right? Or that you had an idea that was not very good and you made adjustments to it to improve it. That's what we're after here, okay? Now, a few more things to keep in mind. Something that sometimes students really struggle with is that in philosophy, there can be many right ideas and many right answers. So I'm going to ask you all kinds of questions in this class, and you might worry to yourself, it seems like there could be 3 or 4 or 5 different answers to this question. It's entirely possible that that's right. I just want you to give the answer that seems most right to you at the time when you're answering the question. And I'd like you to just continue to reflect and recognize that your answers to questions can change throughout the quarter and that is okay. All right? And also I want you to know that it's okay to be wrong and it's okay to change your mind. And most importantly, it's okay to disagree with each other. Now, this is something that students, I think, because they want to be very kind to each other, which I want you all to be kind, but a lot of times students are really worried to disagree with each other. And it's okay to disagree in this class. That's a really important part of the process and the experience. As long as we're all being respectful of each other, it's okay to disagree, and we can still decide to be friends at the end of the day. Something that I think that our society in general is really lacking right now is the realization that it's okay to disagree with people. Certainly something that I myself am just as guilty of as anybody else. Okay? And then finally, one last point I want to make is that what my views are on a topic or what you think my view may be, it doesn't matter. Okay, so we're going to look at a wide variety of different topics, and sometimes students want to sort of adjust their view so that it is consistent with my view. Maybe in some classes a good strategy, but here I'm going to make it clear up front that I'm not going to tell you what my views are. I have views on all of these topics, but you don't get to know. And so you also probably won't be able to guess what my view is because I will be on all different sides of the view. And more importantly, I want you to know that it doesn't matter to me what your view is. It does not matter. Whatever your view is, that is great. All I want you to do is to think carefully about it and to make good arguments to support it. And whatever your view is at the beginning of class, in the middle of class, or at the end of class, that is excellent. It does not matter to me. Okay. Now, normally at this point in my presentation, I usually ask students to consider possible challenges to their success, both in this course and then in school more generally. I then invite students to try to think of a few strategies that might be able to help them work through these challenges, and then I have them share these with me anonymously so that I can have some idea of what students are struggling with. However, in our current world conditions, we have no idea what the world is going to look like in 2 weeks, let alone 10 weeks. Okay? So that's wild, but that's the situation we're in, certainly. So instead, I'd like you to please follow the link in this assignment to the free suggestion box, and feel free to share with me anything that you would like me to know, or that you're worried about with regard to school or this class. Okay? And this is completely anonymous, and I won't know who's going to share what, but it does give me a good idea of what it is that people are dealing with sort of broadly and what people are experiencing. So this is just an opportunity for you to sort of vent about things that you're worried about, things that you think might get in your way, things that you're not sure about, or whatever it may be, to just give me sort of an idea of where different people are at. And to be clear, I mean, these are very, very difficult times. And I just wanted to give all of us the opportunity at the beginning of class to sort of vent some of those difficulties just anonymously, and know that I'm reading them, and that I'm just trying to treat everybody with the support and respect that we all need under these conditions. Okay, so to conclude, I just want to thank you all for taking my class. It really means the world to me to have you all in my philosophy class. I love teaching philosophy. I love introducing it to new people. I would also like to thank any students who've taken any of my classes before. It means so much to me to have students take my classes more than once, and I hope that this class is even better than the last class you took. That's what I try to do personally, is make each of my classes better than the last one. I think that we're going to have a great time. I said that early on in this video, and I really do think that we can have some fun and enjoy ourselves a little bit. And again, if there's ever anything that I can do to help you along the way, please don't hesitate to contact me. My email address again is nnash@bluecc.edu, or you can also contact me through Canvas. And if you ever want to meet face-to-face through Zoom, my schedule is very flexible. Just please let me know. All right. Thanks a lot.